We're going to appoint our teams respectively that have worked very quickly to reestablish the functionality of our respective missions in Washington and in Moscow. For us to be able to continue to move down this road, we need to have diplomatic facilities that are operating and functioning normally.
Top U.S. and Russian officials met in Saudi Arabia to negotiate an end to the Ukraine war and improve relations between Russia and the United States. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he wasn't informed of the meeting and was not invited to attend. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff sat across the table from Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Russian Policy Advisor Yuri Ushakov. The State Department says the U.S. and Russia pledged to lay the groundwork for future collaboration on geopolitical and economic interests. Lavrov said in a statement, the talks were a first step in normalizing relations between Washington and Moscow, pointing to previous barriers laid out by former President Joe Biden and former President Barack Obama. Shortly before negotiations began, Russia released an American citizen who was arrested on drug charges earlier this month at a Moscow airport. Caleb Byers was arrested on February 7th after being found with a small amount of marijuana. He was released as a goodwill gesture ahead of talks in Saudi Arabia. The talks come after a phone call between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, where they discussed ending the Ukraine war. Zelensky was also not included on that call.
I will never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Bipartisan unity, bipartisan support, we're thankful for all of this, but there is no any leader in the world who can really make a deal with Putin without us, about us.
Zelensky previously rejected a deal by the Trump administration to continue aid to Ukraine in exchange for $500 billion in rare earth minerals. Zelensky described the deal as too one-sided.
We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars, and, they may make a deal, they may not make a deal, they may be Russian someday, or they may not be Russian someday, but we're going to have all this money in there, and I say I want it back.
Trump has long lamented the cost of Ukraine aid and said on the campaign trail he would make a deal to end the war in a day. The talks come ahead of an expected in-person meeting between Trump and Putin to discuss ending the war.